everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and here we are with the 2023 Kia Telluride SX Prestige. And I've been driving this massive SUV around for the past 500 miles over this past week, and I've really gotten to know what it's like to live with, what it's like to drive, and hopefully it's been enough time to learn all of the crazy technology and driver assistance features that this facelifted Kia Telluride has. Now in this video, I'm going to take you guys on a full tour of this Telluride, show you all the new features that we are getting in this facelifted model, and how this $52,000 Telluride is like to live with. Let's go dive in right now. Okay everyone, here we are with the 2023 Kia Telluride SX Prestige. Now this is the face of the Kia Telluride. It just went on sale just a few months ago, and it is, again, one of the hottest SUVs on the market right now. It can seat up to 8 people, but in this more luxurious trim package we have here, it can seat around 7 people with the second row captain's chairs. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about the exterior styling and what Kia has changed for the 2023 model year. So up front, we have an all new and refreshed front end. This is introducing Kia's new logo that they have introduced that some people say looks like a KN, but I still see the Kia in there. I think it looks a lot better than the old circular or oval logo that they used to have. I also really love how Kia didn't really mess too much with the Telluride's kind of muscular and boxy design, and they kind of just improved it and enhanced on it from previous. So up front, we are getting that reshaped front end. I do think it looks much cleaner and much more modern than the previous Telluride. Now, if you come up close, you can actually see the Kia logo a little bit closer, and it almost has like this brushed metal finish on top of all the bugs that are splattered on here. But I think that's a really cool touch on there. You can also see part of the camera right there, which is part of their big 360 camera system. I really love the kind of sculpture going on in the hood design as well. We also are getting these updated LED headlights, which are really cool looking, and they're a big departure from the previous shape, which just kind of had this oval pattern. So if I have the key right here, I can unlock it. You can see the bits that kind of illuminate right there. So you have these two little LED beams right here, and you also have your headlights that are mounted up top. You are going to be getting LED fog lights mounted down below into the lower bumper area, which are really nice and bright at night. But I do like these refreshed headlights. They do look a little bit more premium, a little bit more muscular than the more oval shape from previous. Now over here, we are getting some aero, so this is going to have air pass through the bumper and kind of over the wheel arch, which is a nice little touch there, and that's of course on both sides. And you are getting some cooling down below, and as well some nicely well integrated radar sensors in this little plastic piece over here, so it's not really blocking or messing with the face too much. And again, the Telluride still has this really cool muscular SUV design, which I think is really nice. Now I also always love how Kia's have this really cool shape going on in their windshields. It has this little bit of an indent. Almost all Kias have that. I think it's a nice little brand styling touch that they have there. We also are getting redesigned side mirrors. These are power folding, which is nice, so it can unlock and lock the car. You can see they fold in and out with the LED strip on them as well, which is really cool. We also are going to have cameras integrated into the side of the mirrors as well. Nice big mirrors, blind spot monitoring system in there. Awesome stuff. And again, the side profile of the Telluride has not changed too much at all. Also, again, that little bit of that indent, it's kind of Kia's signature trademark right there. We are getting new wheel design. So in this SX Prestige model, we are getting this new wheel design. I think these look pretty nice. It's this black wheel with the kind of machine finish on the top. Depending on what model you would get, you will get different wheels. So there are more off-road models now. Those will bring you different wheels as well. Out back, you can see we have redesigned taillights, a little sleeker, more integrated into the design of the body, and they're kind of like this smoked out finish now. You can kind of see as I turn them on and off. I think they look pretty cool. You're also getting pretty much a similar rear end, though there is a redesigned lower bumper, and again the new badging from Kia, that kind of brushed metal look on their logo right there. I think that's pretty cool. And you can also notice some cameras around the rear as well. I am not still the biggest fan of how Kia does and Hyundai do their tailpipe. So you get 2 exhaust ports, but they're on the side. I wish they just made like a dual exhaust exit on both sides. I think it looks a little bit more cleaner, but this, I guess, asymmetrical design is how they keep going with it. Now, one of the biggest selling points of the Telluride is its incredible amounts of cargo space, and it really is class leading in a lot of those areas. And one of those really cool areas is the rear trunk. Now, this trunk can open in a multitude of ways. You can hold the button on the key fob, you can open it from the inside. If you're inside, you press the button over there, or you can actually just have the key on you, so you can see the key fob right here, and you can walk right up to the rear of the trunk and just stand there, and it will actually open, which is really cool. So I'm gonna do that right now. So I'm just gonna stand behind the trunk. You hear some beeps to let it know you're actually there, and it will open up. So it's kind of like a replacement for like the kicking under the floor type of thing to have the trunk open. But I think it's a pretty cool feature. If you have like bags in your hand, you need to open the trunk, you just stand there for like 5 seconds, it will open up. If you can hold them any longer, but then you get this really big amount of space back here. So we have all rows up right now, so you can see the third row is up, and this is the amount of cargo space you're going to be getting behind the third row. It is decent, though. You do have to remember you're going to have more space under this little floor mat right here that says Telluride on it. So if you lift this little mat up, you'll see a little bit of a lift cover, and this is actually a cargo divider that can move around. You have your storage for your actual cargo cover, which is nice, and then this is a whole bunch of more storage down here. So even with this third row up, you are getting more storage in the back than you may actually think you're getting, which is really cool. And you can just close it up there. Now to fold the third row down, it's a pretty simple process. You guys can see these little pull tabs right here. Just pull them down like this, and they go all the way down. Same thing goes for this side. Just pull it back, and they should go all the way down. Okay guys, we're gonna go into the back of the Kia Telluride to show you the amount of space. Now, the Telluride on the outside, it looks big. It definitely looks big, but you would expect it to look visually bigger outside once you realize how much space is on the interior, because it is truly immense. On this SX Prestige model, I really do like the touches Kia has done on the door handles. There's a little bit of like this premium metallic looking finish on there, because this is more of a higher end version of the Telluride. It's almost fully maxed out. And of course, we do have a keyless access, but I will say it has not worked this entire week that I've had the Telluride. I've tried to press this button 1,000 times. It just does not work. So I'm not sure what's up with that. I'll have to reach out to Kia with that. I will point out that this trim piece randomly will kind of like detach and fly off a little bit. I've pushed it down a whole bunch of times, and it seems to be in right now, but every once in a while I used to come out during this past week and it would just be like out. So I'm not sure what's up with that either. Weird little quality things aside, the inside of the Telluride is a really, really nice space. So let's go check that out right now. Opening the rear doors, and with this one we do have this kind of white gray Nappa leather interior over this blue finish, which I think is a super cool touch. I really love more unique colors on the interior. And you'll notice that this second row is both heated and cooled, so you have ventilated seats in the second row as well as heated seats for both captain's chairs. So that's really incredible. Now you can see on the seats right here, they do look very, very nice. We do have some armrests, but I want to show you how to get into that third row right there. So there's a few different options you have. You can fold down the seats right here, or you can use this button as well. But to get in the third row, we're going to press this button, which kind of releases the seat and pushes it forward. You do have a little bit of this rubberized step-in area to get in there. And let's hop inside. I'm doing this for you guys, so you can see how it is. And we are in the third row. Now to pull the seat back, obviously we just do this and pull it back. There is an adjustment to pull the seat further back to you, so it would probably be all the way back here when the full back. So let's go see if I can fit on this side. So shockingly, if I was forced to sit back here, I could. I actually have room for my feet down here. Yeah, it's very cramped, of course, but I am actually able to sit back here, which is kind of crazy. I wouldn't put 3 adults back here, but if you really did have to, you can. Now you do have cup holders back here, so 2 cup holders for each third row passenger, and each third row passenger also has a USB-C port, and you can see a little bit of a speaker grill back here too. So good amenities back here. And so if you don't get claustrophobic, you do have your own air vent, which is fantastic, as well as some lighting for the third row as well, and a extra seat belt for a child seat. So that's really fantastic as well. And thankfully we do have this rear glass, so it is a little bit more spacious back here. And we cannot ignore the beautiful micro-suede headliner that really amps up the kind of luxurious feel of this cabin. So that's really nice of a touch as well. And getting out is equally pretty as easy. So you can just hop back over to this side and press this little button. The seat will release and push forward, and you can hop right out. There's kind of like this indent to kind of like a grab handle to get into, but it's not as easy to use to get out. I can kind of just kind of grab the whole vehicle and hop out there. Oh, okay. Got that out. It's definitely meant for kids in the back seat more, and you have this adjustment right here to pull the seat all the way back. So second row passengers have some adjustment as well. So let's check out these second row seats now. This nice big grab handle for those second row passengers. Closing the door, pretty solid thunk from the door closing. Now we do have a manual rear sunshade, which is pretty nice. Huge sunshade as well. It's actually really well at keeping the sun out. Love that. And on the door panel, so like I said, we have that ambient lighting strip back here, so that'll really look nice and illuminated at night. Really nice materials, actually pretty much soft touch in all the good places. Now otherwise there's a little some harder plastics throughout, but it's not too bad, especially for this vehicle. You have to remember, this isn't a luxury vehicle. It's more of an economy based vehicle, stepping up to have a more premium feeling interior. But nonetheless, I think Kia did a really good job on that aspect. One of my favorite features back here isn't the seats, isn't the ventilated seats, it's actually where they put the USB-C ports right on the side of the seat. So it's really easily accessible. That's for both passengers back here. So you have 2 USB-C ports there, and you also have a 115 volt household outlet right there, as well as a cigarette lighter outlet right there. So that's really awesome. So a lot of charging solutions in the back of the Telluride. Up here, we have this whole little center console as well for your climate controls, some interior lighting, which is LED lit, and you have your whole climate controls for the rear seats as well. So some venting controls, as well as some temperature control as well, and a little bit of a screen right here, which is nice. And you have these vents that are built into the roof as well. Really nice, a little bit of an easy adjustment. Now, I will say, this panel has been rattling the whole week that I've had it. I keep trying to like press it in. It's a little bit of an annoyance, but just one thing I will point out, I'm going to be as honest as I can in this review. Back seats have a little bit of some storage. I actually like this kind of storage. Looks decent enough, as well as some coat hooks or hangers right there, which is really fantastic. Like a lot of storage solutions, those are great. There's also hangers built into the upper grab handles as well, which is a really nice touch. And these seats themselves are pretty comfortable, actually. So they are perforated as well, because they are ventilated and heated. I love the armrests, which is really easy to adjust. You kind of just like lift it up and down. Pretty nice. And you have massive windows back here too, to kind of like look out and gaze into the distance, or for your kids to do that when you're on a road trip. That's really nice. And also love the accessibility of the cup holders right here. Super easy to get to as well. This is about my driving position too, and this seat is all the way back in the second row. I'm about 6 feet tall. Crazy amounts of foot room in here, so never have to worry about that. And I can actually recline this seat as well if there's no one behind me. I don't want to break their legs, but I can sit pretty far back and get really comfortable back here. So, and I do like this kind of higher position for the captain's chairs. You kind of feel like you're sitting almost above the drivers and get that nice commanding view out onto the road as well, so you can kind of see always where you're going. I actually quite like that, but nonetheless, it's a pretty nice space. Okay, everyone, it's time to go take a tour of the front end of the Kia Telluride, and there are a lot of ways you can actually get into the Telluride. Of course, like I said, we have the key here, and when the keyless access works, you can just walk up and use it. You also have a digital key that you can use on your phone. You also have a key card that you can actually use. So there's a lot of different ways you can get into and out of the Telluride. That's just part of the insane amount of technology features that Kia has added to this facelifted Telluride. So let's hop in. I really like on the new key, actually, it kind of like lights up when you press the unlock lock button. That's kind of a nice little neat touch. The key itself, it's a little bit substantial, and I don't like how the spare key is actually detached from the key. I wish they kind of put those together, but one little weird thing to note, you do have automatic, well, not automatic, but stop start featured on the key as well as a panic button and your trunk button as well. But nonetheless, let's go take a look on the interior of the front end. So opening the big doors once again, nice door handles actually. And now we can get a really cool tour of this fantastic front space at the interior. And again, on the door panels, we can see that really nice blend of that blue material up here, which is not leather, but it is a kind of nice soft touch material over here. Again, that faux wood trim, which looks very nice. It doesn't feel super cheap either, actually. Again, soft touch material up here, which is actually quite nice. A nice leather stitched area over here. And again, that ambient lighting that's gonna go across the interior, and this nice bright work trim over here. Nice big of your speakers for your Harman Kardon premium audio system. And I will have to say, Kia has done a really fantastic job of the entry and exit points of this vehicle. This is a huge SUV, and you obviously sometimes you might have to step into these bigger SUVs, but this opening is absolutely massive. It's so easy to just get in and out of here. I actually think that's one of the really huge highlights that they've worked on for this platform. Another great thing is the amount of adjustability you have for these front seats. You have lumbar support, you have thigh support, you have all your other adjustments, and there's also kind of like a recovery function where it will kind of like almost give you a massage every 30 minutes to kind of like rejuvenate any pain you might have on a road trip. Really love those features. Again, these are white, or I guess they call it gray Nappa seats. Let's go hop in and take a closer look at this interior. You gotta get a sense. There's a little bit of a welcome chime there too, but you kind of get a sense of how quiet it is on this interior as well. And I love the blue steering wheel. That is so cool to me. You have the Nappa leather wrapped in blue going around it. Blue stitching as well. And even the airbag cover is blue. It may not be in leather, but it has kind of like a faux stitching, and it is the kind of like blue. But I love how this is all matching. The whole dashboard is as well as in that blue material with kind of like the stitching into it as well. It's a really cool touch in here. I think this is definitely the spec I would go with. I'm going for the Telluride. And again, on the dashboards, you're getting that faux wood looking trim. It looks pretty premium, even though it may not be real. It does elevate the visual enhancements of this interior. Ambient lighting is also throughout. But let's turn it on. So you have your stop start button right here. Put your foot on the brake. Start up with the Telluride. So Here you can see the all new dual screens right here. So you have your digital driver cluster here, as well as your infotainment system right here as well. And they're all kind of blended into this one kind of curved panel, which is really, really premium looking. It looks very Germanic in that aspect. And you also have a heads-up display right here, which is actually really fantastic. A lot of information is displayed in that heads-up display, and it can be really bright. I have found some difficulty viewing it with sunglasses. It does get very dim, but nonetheless, I do like having heads-up displays. I'm a huge fan of them personally, but otherwise you can just turn it off if you're not a fan of it. So what do we have on this interior? So if you're familiar with Kias, I would just skip through this whole part, but if you're not, I'm going to show you through all the cool stuff that kind of Kia has done here. One big word in here is physical buttons. There are physical buttons for everything, and I think that's fantastic. You have your whole section for climate stuff right here. So if you heated steering wheel button right here, you got all of your fan speed controls and your vent controls, as well as your dials to change your temperature right here. Nice physical, big, easy to use dials, which I think is fantastic and almost necessary in these kind of family style vehicles. You don't want to be shuffling through a whole bunch of menus to kind of find this basic stuff you want to control all the time. Again, really easy controls for your heated and ventilated front seats. So both driver and passenger do get those. Really fantastic. And these are really good ventilated seats. They really do cool you down. I actually have to turn them down because they get too powerful. So I love that. Nice big center storage console right here. Now it is this kind of like this gloss plastic material. So it doesn't feel super premium, but it does the job. I would always leave it open because you have a lot of stuff going on here. So you have a USB-C port, a regular USB-A port, 12-volt power outlet, a wireless charger, and a little bit more storage. Now, I always say wireless chargers in vehicles that don't have wireless CarPlay or Android Auto are completely irrelevant, and this one does not have it. I'm not sure how they included all this technology and did not include wireless CarPlay or Android Auto. It's a huge mistake, I think, from Kia to do that, but I've been bashing on them. A lot of people have been bashing them that for a while, so hopefully they finally will add that in. Nonetheless, you do have it if you want to charge an additional device, and you do actually have to use the USB port I've found to kind of connect to Apple CarPlay anyway, so a little weird stuff going on there. Nonetheless, it's a nice little cubby for all your stuff, and you do have two big cup holders right here, a little bit of an additional storage cubby unit right there. And I love this shifter as well. It has the same Nappa leather you're going to find on the steering wheel. Feels really premium actually, and you have the same blue Nappa leather as well as kind of covering the shift boot. Really nice materials in here. The Kia really has stepped up their game. Well, here we have our drive mode select. There's a lot of drive modes actually. So for eco mode, a snow mode, a smart driving mode, a sport mode, and a comfort mode. And you will notice this little lock button. So this one has a locking center differential, so you can kind of put this in a continuous full-time all-wheel drive system. Normally it will kind of almost operate in front-wheel drive and mostly send power to the rear wheels if you need it. Nonetheless, this is a nice little easy way to control your drive modes. I love that. Now, this camera button, this has to have some of the best cameras I've seen outside of like a luxury car. So yeah, so you see your backup camera, really nice stuff. You have your top-down view. Press this button here. I love this system. I love the cars that have this kind of like full car view system, and it does actually show the wheels turning as you're spinning. No, it may not be color matched to every single Kia, but nonetheless, this is a really fantastic system, super high quality, and I just think it's really good. Let's take this out. So we're in sport mode right now. You do get a little bit more of a touchier throttle in sport mode, a little bit of a heavier steering, but comfort's actually quite nice. And so Kia has really stepped up their quality for 2023. They have acoustic laminated glass in this one, a whole bunch more foam, sound deadening throughout the cabin to kind of make it really more quiet in here and more of a premium enclosed feel. I have unfortunately noticed though a few rattles coming from this interior, especially from this upper piece right here, as well as a few other spots in the interior that I just cannot make go away. So I'm not gonna hide those facts. I have noticed that over my week of testing, but nonetheless it's been pretty good in here. This fake wood trim is actually quite nice looking. I love the blue. I really like the blue contrast over this kind of gray white cabin. It's one of my favorite touches of this. Nonetheless, it's a pretty nice space to be, and these screens actually work fantastic. I've had no issues with those. For the Telluride, and I'll just get this off the bat, this is a comfortable family SUV, cargo hauler SUV. If you're looking for something that's going to be able to handle, you just don't come here. Don't come to the Telluride. You're going to want to go for like a Mazda CX-90, for example, or pretty much any other competitor that will probably drive a little more dynamically, I guess, in that sense. This is more focused on comfort and that cargo space and all that capability. I'm going to pop it into sport mode really quickly right here for you guys. Of course, we do have Apple CarPlay. We unfortunately don't have wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which is really unfortunate. Some acceleration here. nice throaty sound from that naturally aspirated V6. You know, you definitely have enough power. It's a naturally aspirated power, so you know, you get a little rev it out a little bit longer than if you had a turbocharged engine, which is a little bit smaller, kind of get that more low end torque. But I've never really felt like ever having an issue with this powertrain, which I think is perfectly great to hear. It gets pretty up and go when you need it to. And I'm in sport mode right now. The throttle is a little bit more touchier than you would normally find, so I put it back into comfort right now. You have to put your foot down a little bit more to get more gas out of it, but still no issues on that department at all. Otherwise, this cabin is really, really nice. Super quiet and insulated. And if there's any complaints, it's just more personal preferences that I prefer something more of like a dynamic vehicle. Like the steering is light, you know, and I guess you want that in this big giant SUV. And the suspension generally is actually quite comfortable. I have found some instances where it lets in a little bit more like busyness into the cabin. I wouldn't say it's like harshness. It dampens things pretty well, but there's just a little bit too much like busyness going over some bumps that I wish they could kind of like hamper out a little bit more. But then again, this isn't a full-on luxury vehicle, so for that aspect I think it's okay. Nonetheless, this is a very nice SUV. This one's coming in around like $52,000. We're actually staying in this lane. This one's coming in around like $52,000. And again, you can get two higher trims. Those are kind of more off-roady trims, and those actually will make the ride a little bit harsher, due to the higher ground clearance and a little bit more of a beefier rubber that you're going to be getting on those models. And the best part about this car, and I really do say the absolute best part about this car, is the incredible highway driving assistance features that you get. Kia and Hyundai have been doing some incredible stuff with their highway driving assistance tech, and we're going to test that out in a second. And this one has their new Kia DriveWise system. There's like 17 different safety systems built into this vehicle, and I think that's where this thing's going to be at home mostly at the end of the day. We're going to be on the highway, cruising, going on road trips, and I wish the fuel economy was better. You know, maxed out with all-wheel drive, you're going to be getting around like 24 miles to the gallon. Not the best. I've been averaging around 18, 19, 20. I wish there was like a hybrid option, or at least some kind of 48-volt option to kind of like improve fuel economy, but you know, they're gonna have the EV9 coming out soon, which is gonna be the electric version, so I guess that's gonna be the efficiency king there in that aspect. A little bit of some acceleration here, and you know, we're on the highway cruising at comfortable speeds. Pretty decently quiet in here. There's some wind noise coming in. You are driving a box at the end of the day, so you can't completely avoid that, but I'm gonna activate their DriveWise system here. So I literally just press this button and we're on. That's it. As you can see, it automatically picks up the car in front of us. It knows it's there. You can change your following distance with this simple little button right here, which I think is fantastic. And you can turn off steering and lane keeping assist with this little button really simply. And since this is their latest system, it features a really advanced feature, automatic lane changing, or at least assisted lane changing. So I see it's clear right now, so I'm going to press my left turn stalk. You can see it knows there's a clear lane there. Keep pressure on the steering wheel, and it's actually going to change into this lane for me. Took a little bit of time there just because I think I didn't have my hand on the steering wheel, but it is normally a lot quicker than that. And yeah, so it can do that. I don't know how useful that feature really is in the real world. In all cases, I think I can change a lane a lot quicker than that, but it's cool to see that they are advancing this technology forward and just keep thinking and going forward with the stuff. And it's cool to see this in something that's not like a Tesla or something, or like a high-end Mercedes. They're bringing these more advanced technologies down to like the more mainstream market, which I think is really fantastic. I'm not sure if this is fully coming up on the camera right now, but the heads-up display is displaying all of this information, the green, the colors, and everything into my view up there. And it's 10 inches wide, which is actually pretty decent. It's also really cool how it shows the cars around you. Again, something I would consider like a Tesla feature, I guess. Some people like to think of it like that. But yeah, some really cool stuff in terms of driving assist. And like I said, that's kind of like where the hallmark of the really like good thing about this vehicle is. It's a highway cruiser at the end of the day, and these features, this highway driving assist function, is just really fantastic. And I think this screen is just so calming, especially with the sunset right now. They're doing a good stuff with their technology wise. I think it's really, really good stuff from Kia. And again, this display too is super easy to use. It's super quick, and I love that you have those hard buttons still to kind of quick access some more traditional menus. Even the settings is a quick and easy access right there. If you don't want to look at anything, you just swipe all the way over or go to the home screen, and you can have this home display right there. And it's just this really calm looking color with the map and the side view over there, which is really nice. And if you really did patch up this Kia logo right here and just take a look around this cabin and you didn't know what you were in, you would definitely think you were in a higher end vehicle. From the nice soft micro suede or faux micro suede headliner to the blue leather or blue dash with the blue leather steering wheel. It's just such a cool contrasting space. And I really love that more manufacturers are kind of playing with these interior colors. I'm just so sick of seeing all these boring, just straight on black interiors or just full on, even just white's a little bit too much. This nice breaking up of these materials is really, really nice. And of course we have ambient lighting in here, which you can change through the infotainment system as well. So you have all those nice fun customization features in there. And cruising around town, we're in comfort mode right now. It's very quiet, it's very smooth, steering's light, and even the engine is just nice and smooth to put you along back home. And at the end of the day, like I said, I don't have kids. I'm young. I like something that's more dynamic. And if you do have kids and you want something more dynamic, the Kia Telluride may not be for you. But for the general audience, this is a fantastic SUV. Incredible amounts of cargo capacity. And of course, you can get this at a much lower entry point. You don't have to be getting this $52,000 version. They start in the high 30s, low 40s if you really want a nice equipped one. And I think that's really where the sweet spot for the Telluride will end up being for most people. So if you are shopping in this segment, I think this is a must consider option for sure. Nonetheless, guys, thank you for joining me on yet another review over at Allcarnews, and stay tuned as always for a lot more coming soon. Cheers.